right, thanks a lot, Elizabeth. Didn't pass the test, couldn't make the grade. Well, there's some good news. You're qualified for a high school diploma in the state of California. Yep, Governor Jerry Brown expected to sign legislation retroactively suspending a basic high school exit test requirement for graduation. Is that helping these kids? That means thousands of students who failed to ever pass the exam will now be able to receive diplomas. David Banks is the president and CEO of the Eagle Academy Foundation, which employs at-risk inner-city young men to become academic achievers. So, David, I guess this is totally the antithesis of what you do.
No, absolutely. I mean, we provide our young men with a rigorous curriculum and making sure that we prepare them to pass the exams, pass their courses, and be prepared to move on to a great career.
And in California, they basically say if you can understand 8th grade level work and get 55 or over, you'll get your diploma. Because these kids have had it tough already. Why not make it a little easier for them? What's your thinking?
Well, you know, I think the problem in California that I'm seeing is the fact that they want to suspend the exit exam. They think that the exam really doesn't align with the new Common Core, and that's fine. But to retroactively allow the students who've already gone through their high school experience, who failed the test, to just say, well, we're going to waive the test really doesn't mean anything. That seems a little outrageous.
What's your graduation rate?
Over 85%.
Okay, so your theory on graduation is, okay, let's say a way to help these kids is to demand more of these kids.
Absolutely. I mean, we bring our students to school on Saturdays. They've got to do an additional 2 to 3 hours a day after the school day. We're a network of traditional public schools, but you got to have a rigorous coursework and establish really high standards. I believe in that.
Tell me what you think of this level of work and some of the standard exit exam questions. For example, 60 miles per hour is the same rate as which of the following? A, 1 mile per minute, B, 1 mile per second, or C, 6 miles per minute, or D, 360 miles per second. Does that seem like 12th grade level for you?
No, that's absolutely not 12th grade. And in some ways, you don't even have to go to school to be able to figure that out. Right. It's 1 mile per minute.
And of course, yeah, A. Meanwhile, here's another example of another question, which I didn't memorize, so I'll have to read with you at home. Kelly paid $1.89 for 5 plums. About how many plums would she get for $10?
Well, that involves a little bit of an estimation and multiplication. It's certainly not a high school level, but you know, pretty standard and straightforward. But it shouldn't be something that you have to answer a question like that to even graduate from high school.
David, people at home who aren't education experts like you and don't have the models and the results to show instinctively say, and especially in at-risk communities, these kids have had it hard enough. So why not make it a little bit easier to be successful in society by giving them that diploma and not having that be an albatross on their shoulders?
We don't want diplomas to be a worthless piece of paper. We've got to establish standards. We've got to make sure that we've got a rigorous curriculum. We've got to make sure the teachers are prepared. Give the kids what they need to support them, but don't lower the standards and just start handing out diplomas that don't mean anything.
Right. The response when you demand more is?
The response when you demand more is that young people will absolutely step up and meet those demands if you give them the supports that they need. They want to have high standards, and that's what we as a society really should expect in our schools.
And that's why so many people are lining up to go to these charter schools that you're going in, not in California where the public schools where they're lowering the standards.
And we're not charter, but you got great charter schools and you got some great traditional public schools as well. So the whole deal is to make sure you got great schools, great standards.
You're the Eagle Academy Foundation. David, thanks so much.
My pleasure.
All right. Meanwhile, 2 minutes.